All right, so here's a little how-to video in StatCrunch. First thing I'm going to do is look at a categorical variable versus another categorical variable. So for my thing, I'm going to use our class survey, and I'm going to look at gender versus whether or not someone owns a pink shirt. So if I wanted to do this, first thing I might want to do is, first thing I'd probably do is just quickly do a contingency table, because it lets me look at those two categorical variables at once. So I pull contingency, come on now, with data, and then I would choose gender and pink shirt. Nothing here that I need to choose here. And you can see automatically already highlighted is this chi-squared test for independence. So like I said, you can immediately see this. There are also other tests you can see, especially one that's for 2x2 only and stuff, but this is the one that we learned about in class and what you should use. So we're going to compute. You can see I have my contingency table, which already gives me a sort of glimpse at what's going on. The females seem to have more yeses than the males do. They're a larger group. So maybe I'm concerned, but we have more yeses than nos in the females and more nos than yeses in the males. So I feel like there's definitely a relationship. And if we look down at our chi-squared test, the p-value is 0.001. So we can say that with certainty, there is statistical evidence that there's a relationship between your gender and whether or not you own a pink shirt. Now, if you wanted a graph to do, bolster this or give a visual for it, the graph you'd want to do is something with a bar chart, because bar charts are the only one that allow you to have two variables at once that are both categorical. So this is where I always have to play around. Pink shirt, try grouping by gender, and sometimes I'll have this wrong, so I won't know what's happening. And you can try split bars, but here's my issue with the bar chart as it is. Right here, it's very hard to tell. I mean, obviously we can see more of the females are in the yes category than males, but sometimes it gets a little bit, I don't know. I kind of wanted to have the female male down here and then the breakdown of pink shirt within each of those genders, because I think the gender influences the choice of shirt. So what I would do is I would change this, and I would have done gender here. And there's no right or wrong. Either way is going to show the relationship. It's just sort of how you want to visualize it. I'm going to group by pink shirt, and I'm going to try stacking my bars. Now here's another thing that I was mentioning. If I do stacked bars, what you'll see here is the two bars of unequal sizes, because we can see the women have a much larger group between my three classes. We can still see overall that there are more women in the yes category than in the no category and all that, but it is sometimes nice to play around with, instead of doing frequency, doing relative frequency within the category. So what this will do is it'll make both males and females out of 100. So now we can see 71% of females have a pink shirt, while only 37% of males have a pink shirt. So it just makes it a little bit more obvious to see what the relationship might be. So those are just all options. None of them is more correct than any of the others. So if you just give me frequencies instead of relative frequencies within category, you're still fine. If you like the split bar chart over the stacked bar chart, you're still fine. Just make sure that whatever you have, it's something that you know how to interpret, and realize that ways that you can play around with this are switching up which one you're grouping by, trying split versus stacked, and trying this relative frequency within category option. Those will give you different ways to look at your data until you feel like you can actually say something about that display. So that's categorical versus categorical. Your display can be a stacked or a split bar chart, and then you've got a contingency table which outputs a p-value automatically. Life's super easy.